Patriotic extravaganza will be capped off by a post-game fireworks spectacular. Tickets are $10. Get yours at trashpandasbaseball.com/events.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Celebrate and honor those who have served our country. The annual Military Tribute Night at Toyota Field is Saturday, September 14th. For the fifth straight year, the USA Patriots amputee softball team will square off with the local veterans of AUSA. The patriotic extravaganza will be capped off by a post-game fireworks spectacular. Tickets are $10. Get yours at trashpandasbaseball.com/events.
And all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Can you get me a little Type-C?
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Chad Gwathney, Coach Grizz. No, that's not Thom Abraham. Thom, I believe, is still in the woods somewhere in Tennessee, enjoying some time away, enjoying some very much needed vacation time with the Miss Alan Abraham. That's why you have me in the booth today with you. And we've got actually a couple of guests today. Thank you so much as always for listening into the program. And we do have a couple of guests today, so stick out throughout. I think the boys from the Morning Blitz are also going to help me out throughout the day as well. So enjoy that. We look forward to today on the program. Of course, we're going to have the voice of the Rocket City Trash Pandas, Josh Carey, as we get to talk about this crazy start that they've had, winning 2 in a row to the second half of the season, behind two just stellar arms, two young stellar arms, one in Caden Dana, who has a 2.39 ERA, and the other one in Jack Kohenowitz, who had a complete game, and this is actually his second complete game as a Trash Panda. So just absolutely crazy. I mean, the Trash Pandas have outscored Chattanooga 23-6 in the last 2 games. They beat them 17-4 in the opener. So we're very excited about that. I'm very excited to be enjoying that July 4th weekend as well as they return home. And a lot of great nights. I think July 5th will be Tennessee Titans night. So that is going to be a lot of fun. So I think don't correct. I mean, I don't know. I think it said that there's going to be some players, or there's going to be something from the Titans, or just some stuff from the Titans. So there'll be some footballs and all this other stuff that they'll be giving away. So maybe Josh will help us with that as well. And just every night is going to be fireworks night because it is July 4th. Just going to be a great weekend with the family, I'm sure. But another thing as well we got to talk about is, of course, the NBA draft. And, of course, Josh is at 12:25. I'm sorry I didn't say that. But, of course, another thing we got to talk about is the NBA draft. Dan Purcell, he's going to join us. That was from a guest that I was going to have yesterday. Of course, we got pushed because of the Braves. We were going to talk about everything about the first round of the NBA draft. But, of course, we had the doubleheader because of the Braves. And the Braves, this is their 4th game now that has been pushed because of the weather. They've made up, I think, they made up 3 of them, and they still have another game in, like, September. They have to, like, they have, like, a weird game against the Mets in September they have to finish. So a 4th game that's been, rain delay. We get a doubleheader. So I was going to reach out to Dan Purcell. Bo Estes was actually who gave me this name. He's a former 10-year front office executive with the New Orleans Pelicans. He's currently with Scout Central. And what Scout Central is, it's a data-driven scouting service developed to help the NBA, NCAA, EuroLeague, and agents identify talent and their fit in the NBA. So what a great guest to have on and kind of break down, especially where is Bronny James going to go? Because I know that Bandy, and I know that a lot of other basketball nerds out there, especially John as well, that just are just so excited about where Bronny James is going to go. But I know we're all looking forward to it. But we're going to pretty much ask him if, maybe he just kind of, is this how the first round should have gone? Is this, as a Hawks fan, Zachary Richechet, and if you are a fan, you're up in joy on social media, you're getting crushed. So it just seems like the Atlanta Hawks never get it right. I feel like in a draft where nobody really knew what was going on, really nobody could really tell you who's the best player out of this entire thing. So it was kind of okay, hit or miss, but still it was either going to be Richechet or Sarr. And so at the end of the day, I'm pretty excited for the Hawks being here. But I have been joined by the boys. Thank you so much for being in here. I think the mic is on. I think it's ready to go. So you guys are ready to go whenever you're ready.
Hey, it's good to be back onto the show. I'm glad that Tom's opening is so long.
Yeah.
Because I'm able to actually make it here. I was on the parkway. I was like, I still got time. I'm going to get there. And then you got through your opening and all that stuff. I see you got the camera set up as well. I think
I have it ready. I just didn't. I was waiting for you to all sit down so I know exactly where I had everybody at.
I appreciate that. And Bandy to the left of me.
Bandy's camera needs to come to the left. Well, I can fix this. Hold on. I can fix this.
I could be the one.
I haven't done it yet. So no one's seen it. So we're
Regardless, a lot of fun on the Morning Blitz today.
Nobody look.
And then it's getting transferred over. Now we get to actually talk a little bit more sports, and it's good to get a little bit of intel from Josh Carey, and I'm looking forward to that interview as well. But Bandy, I know it was a big night for you. You love watching the draft for whatever reason. I don't know most of these guys. That's the problem though. But there's also a good thing about it, because whenever it comes down to the finale of the NBA, the NBA Finals, all right, it truly is the best team, I would say, in the world, because they're able to bringing in all of this talent from around the country. And this is something I did want to bring up in the Morning Blitz earlier on, is we just don't see that when it comes to the NFL. You don't get this nationwide, well, you don't get this this earth-wide, I would say, type of talent on these teams, whereas in the NBA, they're literally bringing in people that nobody knows because they're across the seas.
Well, heck, I mean, we've been seeing it all over the world with this U20 tournament. I mean, it seems like every country in the world is just kind of beating each other in football right now. I mean, we had Canada demolish Brazil 110 to nothing.
Yeah, the validity of that is just going out the window.
And six players are in college experience. I mean, you have 2 players from France back to back. I mean, it's just crazy.
I think it's hilarious.
Twice the number 1 overall pick was from 2 years in a row from France.
Because this is something that's been going on for a while, but like at the same time, nobody's really talked about it. I feel like.
I mean, it's just that basketball has done a really good job internationally, and I talked with David Moulton on Tuesday about this, where it's just like the NBA has kind of adopted that style of play, but also it's just like the style of play too. I feel like these internationals, I've said this before, are hungrier than some of these American players, and it's like these it's kind of like soccer camps for basketball, where it's just these academies are just better. The AAUs of the world, and the your daddy coaching you, also something like your dad could be a good coach and everything like that, but it's like the team around you needs to be a really good team, a developed team. You need to be able to develop teams and develop players. And I feel like the Americans have not done a great job of doing that. You can't just pick a guy off the street, or you can't just find a guy, you know what I mean, at some school and be like, oh, right out of, since this is the first time that it's been like, I think it was like without college experience. It was like the other time was like 2001 when it was apparently, a bunch of high school kids. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're not going to find a bunch of high school kids, I feel like, unless there's just like a couple of talented players just somewhere lying around, just that no one has seen yet, that are younger.
But that's really
Caleb Holt, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So who knows?
Yeah, that's a trend that's kind of been silently just really dying, like especially over the last decade or so. I mean, we haven't really had a top prospect in high school go straight to the NBA, mainly because they really don't allow for it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I actually have some sound from last night on SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt. Yeah. He had Jay Billis on, and he kind of broke down basically all the stats that we just kind of talked about, but he also kind of like breaks it down even further. But then also another player that we have heard around here, Tennessee fans around here as well, but Dalton Connect, and just where he has been and when he's been drafted.
Zachary Rees-Archet and Alex Sarr go 1-2, marking the 3rd time in the modern draft era the top 2 picks did not attend college. First time it's happened since 2003. LeBron and Darko 1-2. First such instance where both were international players. The trend continued throughout the lottery as there were 6 lottery players selected without any collegiate experience, which is tied for the most in any lottery class all time. It hadn't happened in more than 20 years. That was 2001 when 4 of the 6 players came straight out of high school. This is a topic we had last night with Jay Billis. I was curious about the draftability of the big man, and we saw the 2 men that met up in the national championship game, Donovan Clingan and Zach Edey, both top 10, 7 and 9, marking the 2nd time a pair of players 7-2 or more went in the top 10 of a draft. That hadn't happened since 1991. That was Dikembe Mutombo and Luke Longley. First collegiate player off the board, Reed Shepherd. Number 3 out of Kentucky to the Houston Rockets. Stephon Castle from the national champions from UConn. Number 4 to the Spurs. Castle was the first of 2 top 10 picks for San Antonio. They drafted Rob Dillingham at number 8. Then my least favorite thing that happens, he's got the Spurs hat, but not really because he got traded to Minnesota for an unprotected first round in 2031. This is a 12-year-old person. And Jay, I want to ask you about the guy you like the most, who you think can contribute immediately second. But I want to start with Dalton Connect, and here's why. We talked about this last night, how much I watch college hoops, how much I love it. This guy, Jay, had 35 or more 6 times. And he jumped up a level from Northern Colorado to the SEC. He's a first-team All-American. 37 the last time we saw him in the Elite 8 against Purdue. He's got length. He's got handle. He can score. I feel like the Lakers found a really capable and ready player at 17. I'm just curious what you think they got.
Well, first, Scott, I think you're severely undervaluing San Antonio's ability to scout 12-year-olds with that 2031 pick.
Fair.
You know, the Spurs front office does a great job of scouring 11 and 12-year-olds, so they'll be prepared in 2031.
Those U12 travel teams are great. Those U12, you got to watch out for them. I'm with you.
But you're right on Dalton Connect, and I think for the Lakers and new coach J.J. Redick and Rob Pelinka, their GM, they got a player in Connect that can contribute right away and space the floor with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And the Lakers needed shooting. And you know J.J. Redick, he values shooting. He's a shooter. He knows what a good shooter looks like. And Dalton Connect is an outstanding shooter. You know, for most of the year, I was calling him the Roy Hobbs of basketball because he essentially came out of nowhere to be a first-team All-American and SEC Player of the Year. And SEC teams that played against him had, you know, kind of like the Jordan rules, they had connect rules with how they were going to guard him and how they're going to try to attack him when they had the ball to make him guard. But with his size, and he's an excellent athlete, really good range on his shot, just beautiful form on it, and he can also put the ball on the deck and get to the rim and finish with authority. I think the one thing that Connect needs to do is he needs to become a more focused defender. He proved that he could get better, and he got better under Rick Barnes, but I think he's got an even higher ceiling there. But, you know, it's funny, like, there were so many teenagers drafted, and when he was dropping, one of the things that was said was, well, he's 23 years old. Well, all those guys are going to be 23. I mean, how long do you want the guy to play? You can plug him in right away, and he can play, and I think the Lakers at 17 got a real value there because he basically a lottery pick dropped down in their lap.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty – I mean, yeah, I think – there's times where at certain players, the age in basketball, when you draft a guy, it helps so much, especially if they can play right away. I mean, there's a couple of guys that, like, yeah, it's like smaller, like younger guys that, like, you're going to try to feed in. You're going to give small minutes. You want guys that are going to play right away. Dalton Connect's one of those guys. I mean, he's long. He can play defense. He can shoot. I mean, it's I think when you're looking at some of these players, like especially this year in this draft, if you're looking for a player right away, yeah, definitely, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I totally agree on that, and I think it is huge to bring a guy like Dalton Connect in. And I know there's a lot of jokes going out there. Oh, they already got a Dalton Connect. Oh, they need to get Bronny James. Well, the thing is...
They probably are.
The whole conversation about Bronny James is an interesting one because it wouldn't be had if, first off, his dad wasn't on, the Lakers, and second off, his last name wasn't James and he was somebody else's son. And that's going to be the thing we're looking at tonight. And I think that it's quite ridiculous to see, some of these news outlets instantly throwing out right after the first round. Their biggest headline is going to be, well, there's a few guys that weren't in the first round, and Bronny James is one of them. It's like, we understand that he was not going to be a first rounder. I don't even think he should be a second rounder if we're getting at that. I know he's predicted around the 50th spot, around that area, but at the end of the day, you look at the productivity and the amount of experience that he had in college. Even if you draft this guy and he plays with his father and all that stuff, which is going to be a great story, it's like, is he going to be ready to play right off the bat? Because I don't think so. I mean, we just saw him come out of high school pretty much, playing the McDonald's game, drop 5 points, and then go from there.
Yeah.
A lot of it's coming from the name, and I think a lot of people feel the same way about that. And I just want to see how he's actually able to produce when he is brought to the NBA level.
Yeah, I'd be one of them because my biggest question coming out of this draft is how in the world did Zach Edey get drafted above Dalton Connect? No. That's my biggest question. Like, Memphis taking Zach Edey at 9, I think is the most questionable pick of the first round because he's super, like, he was strong-arming a lot of people at Purdue, able to just kind of use his size to average 20-odd points a game. But we've seen in the NBA, that kind of style of play doesn't really work unless you're someone like a Giannis Antetokounmpo who has the athleticism behind him to finish at the rim, to finish pretty much from anywhere on the court. Zach Edey can't do that. He has a hard enough time going from side to side at the perimeter, let alone just doing something more besides being a drop back big and on defense. Like I don't see it with Zach Edey.
I mean, Zach Edey is also on a team that I think I heard last night they were talking about where they like to play fast. They're a team that's fast and they like to shoot. They like to go for the hole. And I just feel like that maybe if you can get Zach Edey to try to be a different player, I don't know. I mean, he used to be a pitcher too, so I mean, maybe he can be somewhat athletic. Maybe he can be a little faster. I don't know.
Hey, there's a thing about that where
maybe the game will change where he can just Shaq dunk on everybody. I mean, we'll just have to see.
Hey, speaking of, remember when Shaq got put onto the Suns, like back with Amari Stoudemire and Steve Nash? They were the run and gun Suns. That didn't really work out because he couldn't keep up with the game plan they wanted to play. They wanted to play 7-second basketball. Like, hey, we got the ball. We're going to score.
And he's not athletic like a Joker. Like, he's not going to be able to, like, I feel like he's not going to be able to, like, body a player, like, in the NBA, too, like he's been able to do in college, too. Because, I mean, some of these guys are not as strong, and some of these guys are obviously not as tall. And, you know, some of these guys aren't going to, like, sit there and take that kind of stuff like you would in college.
See, I'm no expert when it comes to the NBA and the level of play that they're going at right now. But I do want to know, you know, if this is not the way that people are playing, especially I know that the Memphis Grizzlies don't because, of course, we talked plenty about John Morant and how he is really that focal point when he's actually on the court.
When he's healthy and sane.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But, like, comparing him to any other NBA player, like, who is a guy that you could really compare him to at 7'4", 299 pounds? Like, who would you say that he could compare to when it comes to that top level of play?
Talking about current or
current
past?
players, because in the past, basketball's changed a lot. All right,
it has.
So definitely in the current realm of things, who does Zach Edey really compare to? Do you think?
I wouldn't have a comparison in today's game.
Yeah.
No, like to where you have like, I mean, Embiid is the only closest person that would be like to that size.
Yeah.
Where the thing about Embiid is he has range.
Yeah.
Embiid can dribble, he can dunk, he can shoot, he can do all those things that you ask him to do when he's healthy. Zach Edey, it's like, all right, I'm here. Throw me the ball and let me see what if I can turn and jump. You know, like let me elbow the crap out of somebody and then, you know, go to the hole.
Yeah, it's like
it's not going to work all the time like that. I mean, there's not a guy that's really doing that right now.
I mean, it's an old-fashioned style of basketball, and you don't see that kind of offense anymore where you dump it down into the post into your big and then let him work. Like, you don't really see that much anymore. I mean, you'll kind of see it from Jokic, but, I mean, with Jokic, you throw it into the post to Jokic, and there's like 4 or 5 different things he could do from there.
Well,
like with Zach Edey, it's pretty one note.
Yeah, I also have another sound from last night. Jay Billis was also talking with Scott Van Pelt on SportsCenter. They're talking about who the best player is right now and who win right away.
There are so many picks tonight. It felt like, to me, tonight more than ever that I can recall before, where there's just probably a great deal of mystery about the readiness of these young men to contribute immediately. But somebody's going to be ready to hit the deck running. Who's that guy, Jay? Who's ready to come October, put him out there, give him minutes, and he can contribute? Is there somebody that jumps off to you?
You know, I tend to think as far as being able to play right away and contribute to winning, I really like Devin Carter from Providence. He's got great length. He's just 6'4", but he's one of the best defensive rebounders, not only in this draft, but in the country last year. As a guard, he finished top 10 in the country in defensive rebounding. And Devin Carter impacts the game on the defensive end by getting steals and deflections. As a guard, he blocks shots on the perimeter and around the basket. And when he does get a defensive rebound, he'll go to the offensive glass as well and stick his nose in there and rebound, but he can rip and run and take it the other way. But truly, with his length, he is a big-time athlete as well. So I think you plug him into an NBA team. You know, you and I talked, I think, last night about Stephon Castle of UConn.
Yes.
You know, those guys make winning plays, and I put Carter in there as well. And look at what a guy, I would liken both of them in a way, more so Castle, but to Drew Holiday when he came out of UCLA. Like, the guy makes winning plays, and whether he's going to be an all-star or not, he's got championships, and I think those guys are winners and can really contribute to winning at the NBA level.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah, Devin Carter, I mean, I hope he plays a lot better than he dresses because he was getting cooked on social media. I mean, everybody was just ragging on this dude on social media.
I mean,
the entire class was getting ragged on because they look like a bunch of lacrosse players and high school kids.
I mean, the thing about
it was ridiculous this year.
It's 2024 now, okay? You can wear a coat without having an undershirt. And I'm thinking, like,
if you don't have, you got some hair, though, man.
I know.
Like, I don't do that. That's why I got it buttoned up.
was.
I'm respectable, man.
He makes.
I don't want to scare anybody with the acne on my chest.
He makes some of the other guys look good, but I will say he has experience in the SEC. Okay, he didn't play too long for South Carolina, but him going over to Providence was probably the best thing for his career. As you saw, he added on some games. It was more experience. He was putting down more buckets. He was getting faster. He was really leveling up his game, and I think that the Sacramento Kings already are finding success as of late, and adding on another piece like him, it's just going to help that full rotation really come together. And I think that, honestly, we could see him slowly make it into that lineup. He could start a few games in the first month of play, and then we could see him as a regular, just going just back and forth down the court, putting down points and surprising people. Something we are seeing currently in the WNBA with a lot of these new studs really making the league happen. I don't think he's going to be one of those guys that they're really going to be able to sell off of right off the gates, because not a lot of people focused on his time at Providence. But I think that he could be another one of those John Morant type characters, a little bit shorter, very speedy, and he's able to get to the bucket.
Yeah, he's going to complement Sacramento incredibly well, because they play fast at Providence.
Exactly.
And Sacramento Kings are pretty much the exact same way when you got a guy like De'Aaron Fox leading your offense. I mean,
well,
I feel like he can slot right in.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about enough young talent in this NBA draft. Let's talk about some young talent in the AA side for the Angels and the Rocket City Trash Pandas. As we're going to get ready to talk about the second half, the start of the second half season as the Trash Pandas. I mean, we can say hot start. I mean, they're starting pretty good, 2-0. I mean, the scoring of the runs, 23-6 in the first two games. I mean, just playing lights out with the two young hurlers as well. I mean, they've got literally on their roster alone, they've got three of their top 5 prospects on their roster alone right now. So, including Caden Dana. So, let's get ready for that, and all the little festivities we got going on for July 4th weekend too, because that's going to be a lot of fun too, because we're off for those days too. I might be excited for some of those games too as well. So let's pay some bills and get on the other side, and we'll talk to Josh Carey, voice of the Rock City Trash Pandas, right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves are in Chicago this afternoon as they take on the White Sox. It's a makeup game from early April. The Braves coming off a doubleheader split against the St. Louis Cardinals Wednesday, winning 6-2 in Game 1, but falling in Game 2, 4-1. Chris Sale will get the start for the Braves tonight, minus a run and a half, minus 164 on the run line. The White Sox getting a run and a half, plus 136. On the money line, Atlanta minus 295, the White Sox plus 240. The over-under run total is at 8.5. For VSiN.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
Man, I appreciate what you guys do. I know credit got Drew, Talkin' Ball 7 until 9 on my show when I feature Drew, and certainly have a great relationship with Wes and Steve and Tom and all you guys, man. It's always fun to hang out with you with media days, different bowl events, but I always appreciate the partnership. I almost feel like we're sister stations with 97.7 The Zone, the only sports station in the Rockets. And thank you so much.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship in insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy you happiness, but money did help you buy an RV, which means an excuse from working Saturday with your insufferable coworker, Dave. So money is helping you listen to birds chirp instead of Dave chirping about how his toddler is fluent in 3 languages. And it's also why you'll be smelling pine trees in the air, not Dave's tuna melt reheating in a microwave. So save money by bundling your RV or boat insurance with home or auto from Progressive and buy more happiness. or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hey folks, Bobby White here for Woody Anderson Ford. Get ready to experience the ride of your life with our summer lineup. First up, the 2024 Bronco Sport. We've got nearly 75 to choose from. Bronco Sport is built for adventure with its rugged design, all-terrain capability, and advanced tech features. And right now at Woody Anderson Ford, you get $1,750 in total cash back. And yes, we do have the Bronco Badlands Edition in stock. Need something bigger? Check out the award-winning Expedition. Perfect for families and summer vacation. It offers spacious comfort, top-notch safety features, and plus, we've got 24 Expedition financing as low as 2.9% for up to 72 months. And for all you truck lovers, we've got the 2024 F-150. America's favorite truck, delivers unmatched power and innovative features, and we've got financing as low as 3.9% for 60 months on F-150. Plus, these are the final hours of no payments for 90 days on select models, including Expedition, Bronco Sport, Explorer, and more. These offers are with your good credit, and they end July 8th. Come on in to Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Spring Showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash, and the freezer's free, and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms can include pain, heaviness, aching, fatigue, or swelling at the end of the day. If this has been the case, then Varicosity Vein Center can come to your aid. Evaluation and treatment of the veins is performed as an outpatient, utilizes the latest, minimally invasive techniques, and is covered by most insurances. After treatment, patients may resume most normal activities without delay. Varicosity Vein Center now has 3 North Alabama locations, one in Huntsville on South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road. Our new locations include Madison at Madison Hospital Complex and Coleman at the Coleman Regional Sports Medical Center. You can call 256-715-7151 to set up your appointment with one of our experienced and compassionate team members, or you can visit online at varicosityweincenter.com. Varicosity Vein Center, Alabama's premier vein center.
The Atlanta Braves are rolling, and this roster's on a mission to bring home their 7th straight division crown.
2-0, and he hits one high in the air towards deep right center, to the wall, and it ain't sticking around. It's a 3-run home run.
Today, the Braves make a quick stop in Chicago for a makeup game with the Chicago White Sox. Live from Guaranteed Rate Field, Braves Radio goes on the air at 2:55 Eastern, 1:55 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast. That could keep us on the cooler end of the spectrum across the Tennessee Valley. Highs climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s for the most part. Those that end up getting more sunshine and no rain still going to climb into the low and mid 90s. We're going to drop into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Friday. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. A couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms certainly can't be ruled out. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Each week, check out our latest Zone deal online at 977ESPN.com.
I'm eating good food.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke.
You know what time it is. It's time to talk some baseball. With the one, the only, the voice of the Rocket City Trash Pandas, Josh Carey. This is Chad Gwathney, John Abraham, Bailey Lowery, taking over the Thom Abraham Show as we get you ready for the second half of some AAA baseball here in the Rocket City at Toyota Field. The Trash Pandas come back on July 4th. They have that whole weekend as we're going to get some fireworks. Tennessee Titans night. I've probably messed it all up. I don't know what all the other promotions are, but it's always a great time anytime you go out there and have a good time at that Toyota Field. And my favorite night is Dog Night, of course. But let's talk about some awesome prospects and some things going on that's just getting truly wild out in the Rocket City. And Josh, thank you so much. Josh, thank you so much for getting on with us. If I could talk.
Yeah, happy to be here, guys. Hope y'all doing well.
Yes, sir.
We're doing great.
How's the road trip? How's Chattanooga right now?
So far, so good. 2-0 for the series. Big win last night. Jack Ohanowitz went the full 9 last night and got us a win. So Rocket City is 2-0 in the second half, and hope the guys can keep it going tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the first two games, we were talking about that earlier. The first two games, you outscored Chattanooga 23-6. I know Chattanooga has been great this year, but to be able to kind of get some offense going, in the second half, especially early, and hopefully you can sustain that success with all these young prospects. I mean, it's just really good to have those two young hurlers as well to kind of back up the offense.
Yeah, well, Rocket City's going to need to get used to Chattanooga. They're going to face them 22 more times before the end of the season, and you want to use that to your advantage. They're not. You're right. Chattanooga's not having a good year, so you hope you can pounce on that. Hope you can take care of a couple of other subpar teams, and if you can do that, you can make a run here in the second half and try to get in the playoffs, which is always a good thing and always something I know that our crowd looks forward to. And they're going to have an opportunity to do that. So hopefully the guys can continue to play well and hit the ball a little better and get the job done.
Before we really break down the season that Caden Dana's really had, 20 years old, guy's young, you're going to get him. We don't know when he's going to get called up, but he's been absolutely stellar when he's been out there. But Jack Ohanowitz, 2 complete games already as a Trash Pandas. He's 7th on the prospect list. Just talk about the success he's had this season, but also I think I've been behind the board when he's had a rough night. So just talk about what he's done this season.
Well, I think it's been a learning experience for Jack. I think he's 22, 23 years old, something like that, and he's still learning his way, and he's had his down moments this year. But that's all part of the growth process. This is not an easy league to pitch in, and it's a big stepping stone for any guy to, if they want to get to the majors, is learning how to pitch well in AA because you're facing everyone's top prospects. So the fact that he's seeing the same hitters again and again is a good thing. He's learning to become a more consistent pitcher. Whenever he keeps his stuff low, he is really tough to hit because his stuff is that good. If he keeps it low in the zone, he's a very tough pitcher to face. So as long as he can work on the consistency and the release point and just becoming a solid once every 5-day type of ball player, he's going to have a lot of success. But again, at this level, it's about getting guys to be consistent. And he's slowly getting there. It's been a struggle at times, but he is getting there.
Yeah, and just talk about, 86 pitches, a complete game. You don't see that too much, obviously, in the pro ranks. Liberatore last night against the Braves, I think, threw less, and he got taken out in the 7th. So, he was dealing against the Braves. So, it's just kind of crazy when you watch some of these younger hurlers. It's like you want to see them do really well, but is there kind of a pitch count on some of these younger guys that we have?
Yeah, there is. Usually at this point of the season, though, they're willing to let them go a little bit. 90 to 95 is typically the end point. They may push 100 if they have a long inning. But, yeah, anytime you're dealing with pitchers, you're talking about the bread and butter of the future of any organization, so they're always going to be careful with guys. I wish they would let them go a little further just because I think they're young enough and strong enough to be able to handle it. But at the end of the day, I get it. That's where there's a lot of money invested in these guys, and you don't want to see them get beat up before they even get to the major league level. So it's something that everyone is very cognizant of. I think last night with Jack, he was just so efficient and so consistent with the strike zone. There was really no need to take him out, and he had several very quick innings that allowed him to go the distance. So it was a big night for Rocket City and a good night for him.
Just speak on Caden Dana making that top 100 list. Right now, I think the first game that I actually got to listen, and I was behind the board again, I think he had 8-9 strikeouts in that game. So, just talk about what he's been able to do this season, on the mound.
Well, what he's done is very impressive. He's only 20 years old. and he's just one of these guys who's just got it, right? Like there's some guys who have certain skill set that really sets them apart from everyone else, and that's the case of Caden. I mean, he really is a special ball player, and he's going to do some good things at the big league level. I think it's only going to be a matter of time. The Angels are playing better, but if they falter again and are on their way to a non-playoff season, I could definitely see him getting a call-up sometime in September. If nothing else, just to get a couple of outings. But he's more mature beyond his years. He's a smart guy. He's devoted to the game. He understands the potential that he has, and it's just a matter of him doing it and getting the opportunity, and that's going to come sooner rather than later. He's really a talented ball player.
Yeah, I mean, you've got really talented ball players that are very, very young. I mean, in your top four, Guzman's 20, Kent's 19, he's in single A, Rada's 18, and Dana's 20. And these are guys, that we're going to be able to watch. We're already watching right now in the Rocket City. We're going to watch continuing with some more that are younger that are throughout the prospect list that we're going to see, and some names that, who knows with this next draft as well, who we're going to see in the Rocket City. So it's just crazy to be able to see some of these young guys who are going to be, some of these top hurlers or top players for the Angels.
Yeah, and the Angels have been very aggressive with their players. They like to move them quickly. Andy Shasley brought up a great point to me. He said the entire infield at this time last year was playing college ball. And to think that they're already in Double-A is rather remarkable. But that's how the Angels operate, which means that when you come to a Trash Pandas game, you're seeing legit talent. You're seeing guys who were at the top of the collegiate game up until their draft day. So they've provided us with a real good product with a lot of good prospects and guys who you're going to be seeing in an Angels uniform very, very soon.
No doubt about that. Josh Carey, voice of the Rocket City Trash Pandas, on with us. And kind of just talk about a little bit of the older players as well, because Tyler Payne, the catcher, of course, I'm thinking back to the 17-4 win just a few days ago. I mean, it's good to have some of these guys on your team as well. They're going to be able to kind of get those other younger dudes motivated. And, of course, in that game just a few days ago, he was able to get 3 hits. Kind of just talk about the importance of some of these younger guys to guide some of the younger talent.
Well, yeah, minor league baseball, it's very similar to the majors in that whenever you're trying to build something, you need veteran leadership to help show the younger guys the way. And the great part about a guy like Tyler or Caleb Hamilton or an Eric Wagman, guys like that, I'm not going to sit here and say they are major league prospects, but they're the types of guys you need in your organization to help the young guys along. Yeah. Really, they're an extension of the coaching staff. And on top of that, when you're dealing with young ball players, not just on the mound but at the plate, you're going to see some ups and downs offensively. With guys like Tyler and Caleb and Eric Wagman, you're going to have more consistent offense, which is what you need if you hope to win ball games. So it's really fun to watch all those guys, what they do behind the scenes. I think they all have bright futures, if not as players, then maybe as coaches, whether that's at the collegiate or the professional level. And watching them being able to do that is really good for them. It's good for us. And it really makes you realize that minor league baseball and major league football, it's not that different. It's just about the consistency, but the makeup of the teams are all the same. You need young talent to mesh with veteran leadership, and that's what Rocket City has.
Yeah, and you were talking about just a second ago, too. You were talking about how Andy Shasley was talking about the infield playing college ball, but I also feel like at that shortstop position, we have seen we've already seen 2 players, Neto, Kyron Paris. Now he's back at AAA, inside the park home run, by the way, too, which was absolutely crazy. But 2 guys, listed at shortstop players, Guzman, 20. I mean, I know he's playing really well. He hit his first home run. He's doing a really good job for the club. Is he one of the guys that is those younger guys that could get a chance to get called up, if not this season? Obviously, he's going to get a chance in the future. But is this something this season he could get into? He's experimental by getting called up.
I don't know about him just because he literally got called up to Double-A about a month ago.
Yeah.
He's got some injury issues right now too. But number 3, because Zach Neto is already in L.A.,
right?
I don't know if there would be a spot for Denzer. I think ultimately he's going to be a type of guy they use as trade bait. Maybe not this season, but during the off season to maybe get some free agent talent, or not free agent talent, but to get some big league talent that's already ready. I guess they could move him to second base. They could move him to third maybe. But I think long term his position is going to be shortstop, and if that's the case, it's probably not going to come. It's not going to happen in Los Angeles with the Angels. You never know what will happen, but he's a solid ball player. He's very good defensively. Still has a little bit of ways to go with the bat, and like I said, he's dealing with some injury things as well. So I don't see that this year, but next season at this time, maybe it's something worth talking about.
Well, so the Braves went out to St. Louis, and I think there's another guy out there that's broadcasting those games too. I think you might know him, and it was just kind of weird sometimes when you're watching the game on TV and you see something happen and you expect like him to say something, you know what I mean? And it's for the Braves and it's for the Cardinals. I just absolutely hate it, but it is what it is. We move on, and I think that crazy events of just how the weather seems to always be hampering the Braves. I think this is their fourth postponed game now. They have another game that they have to in September, I believe, that they have to make up with the Mets. It's just absolutely crazy. The Braves just keep handling all these weather delays and all this stuff, these postponements and having doubleheaders and everything like that. But to split the series with the St. Louis Cardinals, who have won, the last 5 out of 6. They're a hot team right now. Just talk about what's going on with the Braves right now.
Well, right now they're taking advantage of, I think, some less than stellar teams. They beat Detroit, which isn't that exciting. The Rays have been a little down this year. I forget who they played before the Cardinals, but St. Louis is actually playing better baseball.
I think it was the Yankees
right now. But what's that?
I think it was the Yankees that they played before.
That's right. So they did beat the Yankees. The Yankees obviously are a quality team, but you're right. Overall, they're playing better baseball, but for the most part, they've taken advantage of a slightly softer schedule. Look, at the end of the day, and I keep telling Thom this too, they're going to be fine. They're getting to the playoffs. That's not the issue. The issue is, can you do anything? Yeah, they're getting to the playoffs. It's just a matter of can they do anything in October. And that really, I hate to say it, it's a crapshoot. Atlanta had the best record in the NL the last couple of years, and they went into the playoffs, and over a 5-game series, Philly was just the better team. Maybe things will be on the other foot this year. Who knows? But, you still ought to feel pretty confident and pretty comfortable with the Braves making the playoffs. It just might not be as the division winner, but as long as they get to October and get to a short series, who knows what will happen. They could catch hot at the right time, which is what they did in 2021.
Yeah, I just think that every time that they keep calling up a young arm, the young arm will go out there, pitch a pretty decent game, and then you'll have zero. It's for the 4, 5, 6 hitters. It's literally the problem is in the interior of the lineup. The core batters are not doing well, and that's the problem with the Braves. And like you said, it's just if they can figure it out. Albies right now is hitting a little bit better and hitting a lot better than he obviously has when starting the season. But it's like, can he stay healthy? Can he hit? Can he be successful later in the season?
Well, yeah, and you can say that about everyone, too. Right now Atlanta's 8 back of Philly. If the Phillies get a couple of injuries, maybe that turns things around.
Right.
You just don't know. That's why, I hated seeing the expansion of the playoffs because I hate to say it, it's made the regular season somewhat watered down. But the good news is if you're a Braves fan, you ought to feel pretty good about where the team is. You're going to the playoffs. It's just a matter of once you get there, can you hit your stride? And can everyone be healthy? Obviously, Ronnie Acuna is not coming back. But you still have a very good team. Alex Anthopoulos is one of the smartest men in the game. I'm sure he'll have a trick up his sleeve or two come the trade deadline. And he won't have as heavy of a farm system to pull from, but he's still got some guys he can maybe deal at the deadline and improve the ball club. And at this point, it may only take another player or two in order for them to get over the top. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah, it's the Braves. They're 3.5. On the top wild card spot. The Cardinals are right behind them, obviously, for the second spot. But the Mets, there's a lot of teams in the NL that are just like under 500, but the Mets are playing great baseball too with Grimace and all this other stuff and everything that's going on for them. And just, it just seems like if the Braves just can continue to win, keep winning, you'll be fine. Just stay, right about the middle. I think it's like kind of the same. It could happen the same way where they could get hot late in the season. They have the lineup to do it, and they have the pitchers to back it up. The older veterans and some of these guys, Ranillo Lopez, that's just coming out of nowhere, everything like that, and then whoever else you can throw in younger. I just feel like the Braves have a good chance. But before we get you out of here, I wanted to ask your thoughts on last night's NBA draft. What do you feel about the Hawks' #1 overall pick?
Well, I haven't kept up with the international pool. It was just amazing to me.
I don't think any of us have.
Yeah, well, I've kept up with. I've been a Hawks fan my entire life. I never thought I would see them finally get the #1 overall pick, and unfortunately, I just felt that the draft class wasn't that great.
Yeah.
So it's not like they had a ton to choose from. We'll see what happens. I just think the Hawks are kind of they're in the worst position possible in that they're good enough to go to the playoffs, but they're not really good enough to do anything. And that's kind of what they've been through most of their existence in Atlanta. I'd rather either be at the top of the food chain like the Celtics, or I'd rather be a bottom dweller and trying to rebuild and with prospects and drafts and things like that. And they're just kind of caught in the middle. Obviously, at some point, it doesn't really matter who they draft. They got to do something with either Trae Young or DeJounte Murray and go from there, because that duo is just not working. Their defense is terrible, but they're a fun product to watch. I mean, when they're clicking, they're one of the more exciting teams to watch play basketball. And at the end of the day, you just need that something to come along that can improve the defense and make them a better, a more balanced team. Right now, it's all about the offense, and it's not getting the job done. And right now, you're looking at best in 8 seed. So, yeah, it's hard to get excited right now.
Well, Josh, thank you so much for joining us, brother, and have a good time in Chattanooga. And tell everybody where they can listen to the Josh Carey Show, because I know that you're playing it throughout some of the broadcasts, and I actually clip them all together, and I post them on SoundCloud. So if anybody wants to listen to them there as well, I know you're talking to Mac McCroskey right now. Just tell everybody where they can hear that as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can get it wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also go to Rocket City's, all their social media pages, as well as the Trash Pandas Podcast Network, which you can find on trashpandasbaseball.com. But, Google it. You'll be able to find it. It's pretty easy to get to. And I have a great time talking to the guys and getting to know them. And Max certainly was a good one. And I have a few others from earlier this year that were a lot of fun to talk to as well.
Thank you so much, brother. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, you guys be good.
All right, Josh Carey, voice of the Rocket City Trash Pandas, man. Yeah, that's a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of great talent in the Rocket City, and I don't know why you wouldn't want to go out and just watch anything. I mean, just be a fan of local sports.
Oh yeah.
Outside of just the high school sports and everything we've got. We've got some semi-professional. They are professional. These are professional players. These guys are going to go on to be professional players, like big time players. And from the soccer guys to the baseball guys to the hockey guys. I mean, we've got a lot of really good talent around here, and you can see it come and go. So I mean, as a old Stars fan, I mean, I've seen a lot of talent come through this town. So it's kind of cool to be able to witness that.
And just been living here. I mean, it's probably one of the most affordable things you can do around the Rocket City. Like, it's a great price to go out there and see some great baseball.
Yeah. And I mean, baseball's awesome because you can bring your dog. I'm just gonna say that right now.
I mean, you
should be able to bring your dog anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless you have the dog allergies, but then that's a problem.
Can't bring them to a Havoc game, which is kind of upsetting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can bring your wiener dog and a small dog. When they have the wiener dog, when they do the wiener dog race.
That is right, yeah. But I feel like, with their name being Havoc, you're supposed to be able to cause havoc in the crowd. So
like
bring
barking constantly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the cowbells are one thing. And
Yeah,
there's that one fan, there's the one section that
Human
that
beings,
hates the refs.
They can be a little bit more havoc than we need.
It's a little much.
Then we have to hit a break.
Plus the beers. Yeah, we do have to hit a break. We're gonna hit a break. We'll be right back. And at the top of the hour, remember, we got Dan Purcell. He's the president of Scout Central, and he's going to talk the NBA draft at the top of the hour. But we're going to be on a break, and when we get back, we're just going to talk about what's going on with the latest around the sports world. You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Chad, John, and Bailey right here on 977 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our sports med specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio. And have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
T-minus 3, 2, 1.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas return home for a 3-game homestand on the 4th of July for a weekend full of fun here at Toyota Field. All 3 games Thursday, Friday, and Saturday close out with the best fireworks show in the Rocket City. Plus, the Tennessee Titans will be in attendance on Friday, giving away footballs to the first 1,000 fans. Get your tickets for the Trash Pandas Independence Day celebrations now at tptix.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast. That could keep us on the cooler end of the spectrum across the Tennessee Valley. Highs climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s for the most part. Those that end up getting more sunshine and no rain still going to climb into the low and mid 90s. We're going to drop into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Friday. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. A couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms certainly can't be ruled out. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want that money!
You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back to the Thom Abraham Show. You're sitting here with Chad Gwathney, John Abraham, Bailey Lowery. Hey, Captain Cool, the Bandy Man.
There you go. Now I can get into it. Now I'm Captain Cool.
Captain
again.
Cool, the Bandy Man. Didn't I say it at the beginning though? I said it at the beginning.
You know, you might have touched on it, but it wasn't with that intensity right there. Okay.
Captain Cool and the Bandy Man.
That's what I like. I don't hear that enough from the Bandy Man either, because I'm the one that's bringing.
Gotta get some more.
Noted.
Oh, that voice.
Yeah. So you'll get me hyped up for that. Either way, Chad, I kind of want to talk a little bit about Texas A&M.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like with all of the stuff that's
we're going to open with. Go ahead.
We definitely talked a little bit with the guy from Horns 247, and it was a great interview. And he was talking mainly about Texas's perspective of it and kind of how, it's already kind of under the bridge. Everybody's kind of going to forget about it. It's not going to matter. Coach found a new team. It's just the way college sports is right now. And, I mean, we didn't touch enough on, the transfers. And I feel like, a lot of these players in a traditional college scene before the NIL, before transfer portal was open, it would have been a totally different game. These players would absolutely they'd be furious with this coach, which is now we knew that this was going to happen because they have the 30-day window. They're able to hop into the transfer portal, and they're just going to hop onto his team again. And I feel like with, Coach Slosh and what he was doing, it's definitely wrong, but with what the NIL and transfer portal have done for the sport, it's a lot less intense for the athletes and more, okay, live and let die. We'll just hop over onto his team. We'll forget about it. He can't leave us again, right? He can't leave us again, right? At least, by the time we get out of here and, head on to the MLB or, AA or the Trash Pandas or whatever team they want to go to.
But knocking on wood, because he left his family for that A&M job.
He left everybody for that A&M job. It was just ridiculous. I watched it 3 times.
Well, I think the latest transfer was Caden Kent. Well, that's the former that's Jeff Kent's kid. Former, I think it was a Dodger. I can't remember all the other teams he was on. No. But that's another guy that, he wasn't a guy that wasn't like, he's an athletic player. He hit like 4 home runs to finish out the season. He's a pretty decent player. I think he had like a 327 average. He's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
But he's not a powerful hitter. And it's another transfer that obviously it's going to happen when these coaches leave and everything like that. It's just kind of the nature of like college sports. And you would think it's NIL or something like that. No. It's like normal. This is like pretty much normal college sports.
Like how
your
many
college is leaving or your coach is leaving, you're leaving. So.
How many would have left if it wasn't for Coach Schloss in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's like,
sometimes you kind of wonder that, like who might have like already thought about leaving before that happened.
No. Now it's kind of like just sending them over the edge, like the final kind of like kick out the door in a way.
Well, your coach leaves, it's like your dad leaving. You kind of gotta do something else. You gotta figure something else out.
But it's like if he wasn't playing that much or something like that before, and he wanted to leave, like who thinks that like he's just leaving because coach is leaving? You know what I mean?
Changes the rhetoric.
So all the time. Well, we're gonna talk to Dan Purcell on the other side, talk NBA draft, and we'll be right back right here on the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, the Celtics announced center Kristaps Porzingis had surgery to repair a rare lower left leg injury. He is expected to return to play in 5 to 6 months, meaning he'll be out well into the start of next season for the defending champs. Bronny James' draft day has likely arrived. The eldest son of LeBron James, not selected in the first round of the NBA draft, now waits to see if he's chosen today when draft resumes with round 2. Coverage for Eastern ESPN Radio and ESPN. LeBron's team, the Lakers, have the 55th overall pick. Notre Dame and Michigan State will renew their football rivalry in 2026 and 2027. The schools have met 79 times, with the first game in 1897. Irish host the Spartans September 2026, marking the 60th anniversary of the game of the century, a 10-10 tie between the teams. November 19th, 1966. Michigan State will welcome Notre Dame in September of 2027.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling sluggish? Gentlemen, Game Day Men's Health. Game Day Men's Health is here to help you. Braden is here. Braden, you've got the answers.
Thanks, Scott. Whether it's low T, erectile dysfunction, weight loss, or a number of other things, we have a solution for them.
It's Game Day Men's Health. Give them a call today at
256-850-1570.
You can find them online,
GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, what man wouldn't like to have tests done in a man cave?
That's right. Come in for your free test and consultation, walk into a world-class staff, a comfortable, relaxed environment, and we got your results in about 20 minutes with appointments less than an hour.
And the big game is always on the TV. It's Game Day Men's Health. Give them a call.
256-850-1570.
Online,
GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
it's Game Day Men's Health, not your average men's clinic.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
Y'all the best, man. Hey, just don't make sure I don't get that Moron plaque.
No, sir. Not at all.
Thanks, Coach. Oh, Ronnie Stapler joining us. No, Coach, you are not going to get the Moron of the Year plaque.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves are in Chicago this afternoon as they take on the White Sox. It's a makeup game from early April. The Braves coming off a doubleheader split against the St. Louis Cardinals Wednesday, winning 6-2 in Game 1, but falling in Game 2, 4-1. Chris Sale will get the start for the Braves tonight, minus a run and a half, minus 164 on the run line. The White Sox getting a run and a half, plus 136. On the money line, Atlanta minus 295, the White Sox plus 240. The over-under run total is at 8.5. For VSiN.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast. That could keep us on the cooler end of the spectrum across the Tennessee Valley. Highs climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s for the most part. Those that end up getting more sunshine and no rain still going to climb into the low and mid 90s. We're going to drop into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Friday. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. A couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms certainly can't be ruled out. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and Twitch. Just search 97.7 ESPN. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? If somebody responds,
get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This is Chad Gwathney. I've got Captain Cool John Abraham and the Bandy Man Bailey Lowery sitting in with me in the studio as we break down Hour 2. And I know we talked about it a little bit in the first segment of the first hour about the NBA draft and all the excitement and all the craziness behind it. But why don't we break down the second segment of the second hour right now, the first segment of the second hour right now with Dan Purcell. This was a guest that usually you hear Bo Estes on this program with Thom, and Bo does a great job with NBA TV and NBA.com. But we got the president of Scout Central and a former 10-year vet in the front office with the New Orleans Pelicans, Dan Purcell. And what better way to talk about the NBA draft? And like I said, Bo said some kind words and told me, hey, I got a great guy for you. And he told me Dan. So thank you so much, Dan, for joining us today and joining the Thom Abraham Show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Bo is the GOAT.
Yes, no, he is the GOAT. Anytime I need to vent on what possibly the Hawks might or might end up doing or might not doing in this draft, or trading away a pick or doing something silly because it's the Atlanta way, I always try to reach out to Bo for sure.
He's a great comfort when it comes to the Hawks.
Yes. And I do like listening to him when he talks about the NBA and just everything that he's able to break down, and like you said, he's a good comfort when something like that happens. And outside of just, we'll talk about the number one overall pick because I'm a Hawks fan, but these guys also want to ask some questions too outside of that, and some of this listening base as well, some of the fan base. But just give your analysis of the first draft, or just breakdown of the first draft, and just I know we couldn't get to you yesterday. We would have loved to hear what your predictions might have been. Where some of you, you could lie to us on radio, whatever. Just what do you think some of your predictions were in this first round?
Well, I think I'm going to start off. I guess I'll toot my own horn a little bit. There was a lot of, if everybody remembers, there was a lot of Reed Shepherd, Alex Starr, number one talk the last 6 months or so. I was a stalwart against both of those for different reasons, obviously. And I had Reese Shea at number one on my board for the last 6 months now. He hasn't moved. He's just the most NBA-ready prospect. Is he, in a normal draft, he's probably going 7. Unfortunately, in this draft, it's a very weak draft in terms of top-end talent. So you have to take the best starter, key reserve, or possible core player that you can. And you really can't go wrong with a guy who's 6'8.5", 6'9". His pedigree is professional basketball. His dad was a professional basketball player. In Spain. His mom is very, very strict with his upbringing. He's a very pro-minded player already. He already has a regiment. And, I think there was a tweet out yesterday. I forget who it was. A former point guard at Kansas. I forget his name, but he was saying that there's no way he's the number one pick. And I'm sitting there like, you haven't looked at the rest of the possibilities, because he was the best of the worst. And Atlanta did the best they could. I think that, I think Landry, he's looking at it going, okay, we have the number one pick. I prefer to have been next year or the year after, because the 25 and 26 drafts are absolutely loaded. Possibly the two best drafts of the first half of this century are next year and the year after. And you're looking at it like, I just have to do the best we can. And I think that's what he did.
So when you're looking at that number one overall pick, was this something that obviously they shipped Clint Capella? This was something that they needed another tall wing, but a much better defensive player. I think as a Hawks fan, we can all say a much better defensive player, but also you got to have somebody that can do both. Okongwu can't even really do that for them too, and I feel like he was a great defensive player coming out of USC that, I was up and down about it throughout some of the years.
Yeah, the wing position in Atlanta, they've drafted high on wings, and you kind of have to until you hit on one, unfortunately. Unless there's a point guard or a game-changing center or, big, as they say, out there. So you got to keep swinging. Because if you don't have big wings that can shoot, you cannot win playoff series. It's been shown over and over and over. Look at who just won the title. They have two big wings who are athletic, and they both shot at a very high percentage, whether that's in mid-range. They finished well at the rim. That team just won the title. And then you think about the other teams like the Golden State Warriors. They had Iguodala. They had wings who were Harrison Barnes even earlier on.
Yeah.
They had wings that were elite wings, and they won championships. Now, obviously, you have Steph, you have those guys, but you do have Trae Young. I mean, it's not like you have nobody. You know what I mean? So getting someone to complement him and be able to space the floor even more in pick and rolls now, I think is really good for Trae.
Give us who you think right now was one of those players that if in outside of the internationals, some of these college players that came out, and what was the best fit for one of the teams that drafted them?
Yeah, best fit was Stephon Castle for San Antonio. I mean, I don't know that there's a more San Antonio guy, minus the shooting, obviously, for Castle, than Castle in San Antonio. I'll be honest with you. I tweeted this yesterday as well. This draft we're going to find out that probably 2 to 3 front offices are going to get fired because of this draft. And I think there were some picks here in the lottery that are just mind-boggling. And we're going to look back on it and go, wow, what were we thinking, right? And, I am not a huge Reed Shepherd guy in terms of where he was chosen at number 3. I think the hard part for him is going to be he's going to get run off the floor defensively. And even though his block rate was high and his steal rate was high, if you look at them, they were all tip-ups. They were IQ blocks. And you can do that more at the college level, but it's hard to do that against Steph Curry. You know what I mean? It's hard to do that against prime Russell Westbrook. It's hard to do that against Maxey. So it'll be very interesting to see when you're drafted 3, where do you have to play well. You're the number 3 pick. If he was picked at 10, the expectations are totally different.
And looking over at, a pick that kind of got the opposite response, I would say, to Stephon Castle is Zach Edey. I mean, a guy that was able to make it to the national title. And a lot of people responded in the opposite way, that when you think of a guy that was able to help a team out, taking him to a national title, you wouldn't get that response. But Zach Edey to the Grizzlies, kind of just talk about, your comparison to an NBA level player right now, as well as, what really are the Grizzlies thinking with this pick? How are they going to implement him into the game plan?
It's a tough pick. I sat there and my jaw dropped. I like Edey. I'm not a fan of his. The problem is, if you look back, he had 0 transition baskets this past year at Purdue. 0. The NBA for bigs, anyways, I'm sure, as you all know, it is a transition game. That's how Clint Capella's been in the league so long. Yeah. He runs the floor, blocks shots, and sets great screens, right? And you have to be able to do that as a big in this NBA. You have to be a vertical spacer. And I think the biggest thing here is in a playoff series, because you're doing this to win playoff series. You don't draft in the lottery to ultimately just have a guy that's the 6th, 7th guy on your roster. That's not what you're looking for, and especially at 9. And Edey in a playoff series, is he any better than Kendrick Perkins at that point? Perk used to get run off the court because he couldn't keep up with the bigs. And I love Perk. Shout out my guy Perk. But still, these lead-footed bigs, they get run off the floor in playoff series because you have 7 games to play against them. You're like, we'll just get him off the floor. And then also shooting, it's a project. His shooting's he's gonna have to get game reps in shooting. Where's he gonna get that? Are they ready for that in Memphis? Are they okay with developing that for 2 years? And then on top of that, how's his decision making? It's gonna be a lot of perimeter game screening. He's an elite screener. But in the short roll, he can't really make good decisions. In the pinch post, he makes okay decisions, but they're not consistent. So you have this whole process with him. So you drafted him at 9. You probably could have got him at 13. Because Sacramento was trying to move the pick at 13. You probably could have gotten him at 13 and got assets on top of it. Heck, because you maybe even got him at 14 if Portland was willing to move forward again. So he would not have gotten past 15, I don't think. I had him 13 to 18, somewhere in there. Not sure Miami would have taken him. Philly probably wouldn't have taken him. The Lakers would not have taken him. So that you're looking at these teams down the line, and you're like, why did you take him at 9? You literally could have got him at 15.
Yeah, and going down the list a little bit more, I mean, we look at, what the Lakers are able to bring in. Their first draft pick, of course, with J.J. Redick as the head coach, which already is kind of still mind-boggling to me, of course, being the same age as LeBron. But they're bringing in a guy, of course, from Tennessee, Dalton Connect. Plays a little bit of a different style than, of course, Zach Edey, as we saw. But he's still one of those big dudes. He's able to move the ball around. He's able to get it up. What do you like about this pick and him going to the Lakers, as well as possibly a future Laker pick that we might be seeing tonight?
Honestly, what a home run. I can't believe the good fortune. I had Connect in the top 7. I actually had him at 5 to Detroit.
Wow.
His ability to shoot is unparalleled in this draft. Him and Reed Shepard are the 2 best shooters in this draft, but Connect is 6'7.5". So it's a little bit different with him. Coming off pin downs, coming off side screens, ball reversal, second side action. He is elite. He doesn't miss. And he hits shots contested. Literally contested shots. He's more mobile than Bojan Bogdanovic. He's more mobile than someone like that. He's not as big, but he's more mobile. So a guy who can shoot that well under pressure and contested and is a great is a good coming off screens. He can get better, but he's good right now. In the NBA, you have to have that. You can hide him on defense. There are teams out there that could have hit him. Detroit could hit him behind Duren. Like, you can hide it if you have an athletic big sitting behind you. I can't believe Charlotte didn't take him. I can't believe that Memphis did not take him. Talk about a team that needs shooting. Utah, I knew they weren't going to take him. Matas fell to the Bulls at 11. They would have taken Connect at 11, by the way, but Matas fell to him, which is another name that's unbelievable that it fell to. So 16, I totally expected Philly to take McCain. I didn't think they were going to take Connect, and I'm sitting there in the draft going, oh, my God, the Lakers are about to get Connect. And they did. It's steal the draft, in my opinion. Steal.
Dan Purcell on with us, president of Scout Central, here with us on the Thom Abraham Show. And you brought him up earlier, not taking Connect, but about the only time I can talk about my team all the way on the other side of the country in the Jazz. I mean, how do you feel about them taking Cody Williams? He was kind of projected low in the class, but Utah had taken him at 10. How do you feel about Cody Williams?
Love Cody Williams. His thing is all mental. A lot of it is, he was injured. He had the ankle injury. It was weird because when I talked to him at Colorado, he was more or less saying, I want to show everybody what I can do. But on the flip side of it, it was, why are you forcing yourself through injury? You would have been okay. And he was playing on a bum ankle for majority of the year. And I like his game. Some people say his shooting it's just a flash in the pan, but I actually think it's sustainable. His brother shoots it extremely well. I don't expect that to change. He gets downhill extremely well. His float game's perfect for the NBA. I mean, he gets to the second level, and he reads bigs extremely well. I think he's actually going to be a really good role player, starter key reserve in this league for a long time.
Good for you, Bandy. That makes me really happy to hear.
Getting some positive news for Utah fans out here in Huntsville, Alabama. So thanks, Dan.
Yeah, like the one of us out here.
Yeah. Okay, now
fan club
to tonight. All right. Of course, we already talked about the Lakers' first pick. I mean, is this really gonna happen? Is LeBron James really gonna have his son playing on his team? And also, do you feel like the people who think that the Bronny James is a little underwhelming just from the stats that we've seen in his year at USC? Do you think that this is actually coming into fruition? Are we gonna see these two together on a team?
I do. I think that's been the plan all along. And, listen, LeBron is LeBron. He's going to get his way. He's earned it. I mean, think about it. He's earned the right to be able to do this. And the least the Lakers can do, the least the NBA can do, quite honestly, if the guy wants to play with his kid, they let Ken Griffey Sr. play with Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, Ken Griffey Sr. was washed up, couldn't play anymore, could barely walk. But Griffey, they both wanted to play together, and that happened. It's the same concept. I don't mind it at all. I actually think Bronny's okay. I think ultimately he's going to end up in Europe, or he's going to be one of these guys that comes to the league, plays with his dad for a year or two, and then his dad retires, and then he realizes that there's no real spots for him, so he's going to go have to prove himself in Europe. I think he's going to have a good 3 or 4 years in Europe and then be one of those guys that comes back, and we're like, oh, this is the Bronny James that we thought we were going to see.
Yeah. And that would definitely be interesting. I wonder what's stopping other teams from being like, what if we just grab Bronny James? What if we just do a little leverage situation, a little hostage situation by grabbing his son?
Try to get some assets out of Bronny.
Oh, that would be such a crazy thing to see.
Well, Rich has a good way of, Rich is very powerful in the agency game. So Rich has a lot of players, and a lot of those teams have Rich's players on their team. And Rich will hold it against you. So he has more than enough sway in other areas rather than just LeBron to hurt you. So I would, if it's me, you just want to play it safe. There's no reason to add the drama. Most teams don't have time for all of that.
Yeah.
If they want to go play with his son, his son wants to play with him, cool, whatever. 55, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, it's the 55th pick. Who cares? But tell me the last 55th pick that was like an NBA All-Star.
Let me think about that for a sec. You'll have to get back to me.
Let me
pull Wikipedia real quick.
Manu was 56, was he? Was Manu 50, or was he 46? I can't remember. I don't think there might be one guy who was an all-star who was the 55th pick, so the odds are very low that he's going to be this franchise-changing player. I mean, he is who he is. He's a role player. He'll play a couple years in the league. I think he'll ultimately head to Europe, play in EuroLeague, and then he'll come back and he'll be a good role player on a championship team.
Manu was a 57th overall pick.
Oh, there you go, Manu.
In the second round.
Manu.
Yeah, so...
wasn't the 55th, but 57, so Manu. We got Manu. Now, how many drafts between Manu since then and Manu?
Yeah, that's 20, 23, 24, 25. That's a while.
You got a 1 in 25 chance. All right.
I knew Jokic was a second-round pick. I was trying to see where he was at, but now he's at 41. He ain't even in the 50s. No.
He was way higher. Yeah, he was just fat. That's why nobody liked him.
So there's 24 overall better players than Bronny James. Who in the second round do you see could be like a steal, or just who's a good name out there that a team could find a good fit?
Nick Clifford is the name I would go with from Colorado State. Nick Clifford. Point guard, can score, but actually has great vision. People think. I think he's actually going to be a good role player, probably a journeyman guy, but hey, in the second round, you're looking for guys who can impact your team in a few years. And heck, if you can get him to impact it now, that's even better. But Nick is probably the closest, I would say, to an NBA-ready prospect in the second round.
So you're the president of Scout Central. Just break down what that means and what that kind of does to help some athletes out there. You okay?
Yep, you see how still there?
Sorry. I was saying you're the president of Scout Central. Just break down what that is and just how that helps teams kind of find players and develop players.
Yeah, so I am so pretty much my team and I, we go out across the world and we find the next draft and the next few drafts. We're actually working on 2028 right now. And we get all the information on all those guys that are coming up in those drafts. So we have a paper trail of their development, their growth, kind of off the court, how they are as well. And it's pretty encompassing. And we contract with NBA teams, and we have a great time doing it. It's super fun.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And you kind of brought up earlier, too, how next year's draft and the one after are looking to be much bigger drafts than the one that we're having today. What factors into those 2 years that just elevates those two drafts above this one?
Top end talent is number one. The Cooper Flag, obviously 1 and 2. You're going to have other guys, Isaiah Evans, Con Knippel as well. That might be a name. So you're going to have some guys. The depth also in the next class better. End of lottery. The depth of player. The Zachary Reese-Shays will be there at 7, 8, 9 next year. In 26, as of right now, in my opinion, some may disagree, but I think with the research I've done on this, 26 may go down as the best draft of the first half of this century. It has so many top-end prospects that could be franchise players. We're talking about 6, maybe 7. And then you're talking about guys who could be core players, which are, the Drew Holiday, for probably about 6 to 7. So you're looking at the entire lottery as a possible team-building group. And that's why you saw the Nets go all in on 25 and 26, because they may know from someone that, and again, not by himself, but, as a group of people, that the 26 is loaded. And you saw Brooklyn hedge it right now with 25 and 26. The signs are there. The signs are there for everyone to understand that 25 and 26 are going to be franchise-changing drafts.
So, Dan, I want to just ask you one more question before I get you out of here. With the, the just huge amount of international players just winning the MVP, I feel like in the last 5 or 6 years, the way the first round of this draft went, a lot of these players are just not American players, not American-born players. What are your thoughts on just how the NBA's kind of changed as a game as a whole, and then just kind of what teams are looking for when it comes to some of these international players who kind of just come out of nowhere, but they're young men who've been playing with grown men in the international game and can literally just come right into it in the NBA game.
Yeah, I think that I it's not a fad. It's going to continue, but I think what we're going to see over the next few years is the American game catching up, because the way Nike and EYBL have developed their systems and their processes to where there's more elite development than there was before. I think over the next 5 years, you're going to see this grouping of Americans really push forward and not push the Europeans to the side, but you're going to see less Europeans at the top and more Americans at the top. It's just cyclical, right? I mean, it's really what it is. We're just in a cycle right now. So, the French kids they have been born and bred since, the early 2000s now to really, really play basketball 24/7. And it is a full-time job for them. And that's the difference between here and there. Our kids have to go to school. That's just how it is. They have to go to school. They have to go to class, college and high school.
Yeah.
They have to get an education, because that's kind of our MO, right? And over there, that's not the case. The education is okay, but it's not as serious. And kids at 14 are getting paid to play on the third division team. They're going to get paid €50,000 to play on the lower division. So now, since 14 years old, the agents who own the teams over there and some of the private companies and whatnot, but they pretty much can look at these guys from 12, 13, 14, and they're developing them in the same system. So by the time they get to 17, 18, they can play with the pro team. And we don't have that here. We are going to ultimately have that, but it's going to look and feel different, but it's going to be the same process.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, and it's like the kids don't get paid, but I just feel like, we just lost a kid to another, we're possibly going to have kids losing kids to NIL and other states and stuff like that in certain sports. And it's like, I am just dreading the thought of when some of these kids around here, I guess, get yours. Get yours, you know what I mean? But if you're 14, 15 years old and you're paying these high school players some money to play basketball, but we'll just see what happens once that actually gets implemented in the state of Alabama. But it's the state of Alabama, so I feel like we're going to be one of the dead last states to do that, even though it could benefit our children.
Yes, it absolutely will be. They are very much the last a lot of things. So, but yes, it will be, because what happens is Alabama actually has some really good high school players right now.
Yeah.
That are big time, top 10 in their class. And they are going, I will tell you this, those kids will be moving onward to, to teams that are sponsored either by Nike or mostly Nike, because they have the Scholastic EYBL. They will move on to those teams, and they will move to Missouri or Florida or California or wherever that they can get paid. Well, Florida, you can't get paid yet, but you will be soon. But you can go to these other places like Missouri, go to Link Academy, get paid there if you want. And so there's the competition of this all. It's going to be very different. I think the key for all of us is we have to progressively move forward and understand that at the end of the day, these kids are super talented. It's actually benefiting them more to have more organization, more pay to play, because if we don't, we go back to the problem we had 15, 20 years ago, which is rearing its ugly head, where anybody and their mom can just have an AAU team, throw them out there for 12, play zone all day, don't know what they're doing on offense, yelling, hooting, hollering, screaming, all that stuff, we're going to go back to that. So do we want that, or do we want somebody like Nike, Adidas, a shoe company, the NBA partnering with these guys to create a system that implements all levels of kids, and it's in an organized and safe, and even though they're getting paid, they're getting the exposure that they want with trained professionals. Because once you get trained coaches who get paid to do this, the game changes for these guys.
Well, thank you so much. That was a nice perspective on that. That was definitely eye-opening for sure on that. And thank you so much for your draft analysis and everything. And I greatly appreciate you getting on the program with us, Dan. And make sure I tell Bo thanks for the great resources and everything like that. And just tell everybody where they can listen to you and find your work.
Yeah, I'll be on Twitter _DanP_NBA. You guys can check me all out there. I'm also on Instagram, same handle, DanP_NBA. When I'm on the road, I post, and then I sometimes I have to keep quiet because of contractual things.
Understand.
But but on draft night I am free to go. So you'll just catch me there and interact, say hi. Let's talk next year's draft. I'm ready for next year's draft. It's only day 2. It's day 2. I'm already on 2025.
I'll tell Tom. Don't get Bo next year. Just get Dan. Don't even worry about Bo. Just get Dan.
Probably be in one country.
Brooklyn Nets, #1 pick. Calling it right now. Ace Bailey. Knock it down in Huntsville, Alabama right now.
All right, we're recording it. I recorded it. I'm going to clip that. I'm going to clip that for next year.
Let's go.
All right. Well, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, that was Dan Purcell. That was a great guess. That prediction, Brooklyn Nets first overall. I mean, I couldn't even probably tell you who was gonna even get it or who like. I mean, I get it's the lottery, but it's also just like you just never know because I mean the Hawks, the first time since 75 or ever. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, come on now. Like for me as a Hawks fan, it was just like it's something like in football you kind of want because it'll help your team, but in basketball it's just kind of like. It's like our team was pretty bad. Like we have to kind of build for a while to get good. So
it's like the Jazz have been in a lottery like the past 5 years in a row and have yet to get a top 5 pick. So I mean, I just kind of accept it.
Yeah,
the NBA draft feels like an anomaly to me altogether. I mean, you comparing it to like any. Well, I wouldn't say that because even the NHL has a lottery, but the NFL draft it's so simple, straightforward, and maybe that's why I love the NFL. Maybe that's why I love NASCAR. I only have to sit down for 2 days and I get the experience. Whereas with NBA and all this stuff, you don't just focus on one team. You have to focus on one league, and then you have to focus on another league across the seas, and then you have to focus on all these different players. It's a culmination of some wonderful things, but it's really hard.
Well, I'm just gonna tell you,
is there a NASCAR draft?
What?
There's not. No.
There's not a NASCAR draft.
There's just guys that get.
No, there should be.
Now, see, like I am gonna be totally confused because like I did not know hardly anybody on this NBA draft to be honest with you in this first round, and then I mean obviously the college guys, if you watch enough college basketball,
cheering to cheer.
Yeah,
I mean that's all.
It's not like the NFL draft where us guys know, like the guys know, like fans know like who's playing what because of college football and stuff like that, or where guys are gonna get drafted because it's always on the news. Mm-hmm. But it's like basketball. It's just kind of like. They have the same drafts, they have all that stuff, and it's just it felt like the NFL draft, but it was just also it's like none of these dudes. I know none of these guys. Like you know what I mean? Like I know.
There's no jerseys. They're not bringing them out with a jersey. They just get a hat.
True.
Yeah. They should definitely do that. They should have had the jerseys out there for sure.
There is a charm behind it, though.
Well, we went a little long on that one, and we did start a little long or later too. So, but. We'll be right back, and if you want to call in to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, I know Brandon tried to call in, and he hung up on me. Yes, I'm calling you out, Brandon. I think he's mad. I think he's mad at your dad because he called him out on the radio or something. But I'm calling him out right now to call in right now, and we'll put you on when we get back from the break. Or LSU Lynch, who's watching on YouTube or something like that, you're more than welcome to by calling in 256-576-4977. But like I said, we'll get back on the other side. Maybe we'll talk about how, Japan beat, USA and the sport that we're really good at, or maybe we'll just talk about something else. I don't know. We'll just figure out what we're doing on the other side.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, so let's go to break, and we'll be right back right here on the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves are in Chicago this afternoon as they take on the White Sox. It's a makeup game from early April. The Braves coming off a doubleheader split against the St. Louis Cardinals Wednesday, winning 6-2 in Game 1, but falling in Game 2, 4-1. Chris Sale will get the start for the Braves tonight, minus a run and a half, minus 164 on the run line. The White Sox getting a run and a half, plus 136. On the money line, Atlanta minus 295, the White Sox plus 240. The over-under run total is at 8.5. For VSiN.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Because you want to hear bacon and eggs on your outdoor griddle, not the scraping of rust. Introducing the Weber Slate Rust-Resistant Griddle. Stays ready, not rusty, with a carbon steel cooktop, pre-seasoned and ready to cook on right out of the box. The Weber Slate heats evenly edge to edge up to 500 degrees. All you'll hear is the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Slate Rust-Resistant Griddle just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Experience Alabama's Super Speedway on the water as Gunners of Lake Hydrofest returns June 29th and 30th.
Catch 2 days of fast-paced action as drivers chase speed records on the South's fastest water. 5 classes of race boats will compete, including the H1 Unlimiteds, with speeds pushing up to 200 miles an hour. You won't want to miss this summer's most exciting event on Gunners of Lake. More than just boat racing, the event venue includes kids' water slides, food trucks, custom motorcycles and Jeeps, and interactive displays. Tickets start at just $15 a day for a day pass and $5 for children ages 6 to 12. 5 and under are free, making it the perfect weekend for families. Thursday night, June 27th, head to the City Harbor at 6 p.m. for the ultimate street party, where you can get up close and personal with drivers and race boats and grab team merchandise. The best way to kick off your Hydrofest weekend. Gunners of Lake Hydrofest. Come see it for yourself. More information at GunnersofLakeHydrofest.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
College football.
The ball is caught. It is a touchdown.
Major League Baseball.
That ball is gone. A home run.
This is your place for complete sports coverage all year long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I know that some will say matters but little, babe. Oh, but come on and mean it to me. I need it so bad. I need it to try.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Thom Abraham Show. It is Chad Gwathney, Coach Grizz, Captain Cool, John Abraham, And the bandy man, Bailey Lowery, sitting in for Thom Abraham. Where is your dad exactly? Is he still in the woods somewhere? Is he in a cabin somewhere still?
I'm going to be honest with you.
You don't know.
I have no clue what that man is
Good.
up to.
Might be hanging in wine
Good. I would be like, okay, Dad, good. My dad would be like, don't call me.
Yeah, I am currently focused on what we're doing later on today, which is heading down to Guntersville and enjoying some festivities before the boat racing for Hydrofest, and that's going to be a great little thing. But no, where Thom is, I'm not sure. He sent me a few pictures. I didn't respond to him, and I was like, you know what? I hope he's having a great job. The only reason I talk to him nowadays is for work, and I don't know if that's sad or if that's good. I have no idea.
You gotta throw in a love you every now and then, and give him a hug because he won't love it.
That's how Bronny's gonna feel here in a couple hours.
Bro, I guess that is right. His dad is going to be his boss. So
you were talking about in just 1 day, 18 hours, 17 minutes, we will have Hydrofest. And, there's a great Hydrofest street party going on tonight at City Harbor in Guntersville. Yeah. It's between 6 and 9 p.m. You actually can listen to some awesome live music, and there's a bunch of fun for free for everybody out there. You can meet some of the drivers and see some of the boats and everything like that. So we're going to be out there with a tent, all three of us.
Yeah, I'm going to get my die-cast boat signed by
that'll be pretty
all
cool.
of them.
That'll be awesome because it was pretty awesome to be able to talk to Corey Peabody, one of the drivers, H1 Unlimited, and he's looking to beat another record. I don't know who this is, but we're going to
That boat racing is legit, though. That boat racing is legit. I've seen, I don't know what exactly it was, but it went over to Timms Ford Lake a few years back.
Yeah.
And we got to see a little bit of boat racing. They were smaller boats. They were going, I think 110 miles an hour. These boats are going, how fast are they? I know you've heard it 100 times, Chad, but 160 miles an hour? I've heard these are insane speeds that we're going to be getting into.
Hey, it's around there, and I've actually never been to one of these events before, these kind of high-speed boat racing events. I've never been to one before. I've never seen them in person. I'm looking forward to it.
I've never seen these big of boats going that fast.
Yeah.
I've seen small boats, but that's it.
I've never actually been to one of these events. Actually looking really forward to it.
Come on, boys.
By the way, tonight at City Harbor, though, if you've never been to City Harbor, there's a bunch of stuff going on. There's a bunch of restaurants and shops you can go to and stuff like that, too, outside of that. So if you've never been just for this thing going on, it's a lot of fun. In itself, just going out there, and they're building that kind of same concept in Ditto Landing, where you're gonna have kind of two shop areas and a stage and all this other kind of stuff too.
Really
so
cool.
That's gonna be a lot of cool stuff that they're gonna add in this area as well.
doubt.
But we have Brandon on hold, and I think LSU Lynch might be the next caller, but I'm not sure. I just took it off the whim. But this is I did see Brandon. I did see the number. Brandon, thank you so much for calling in. How you doing, buddy?
Like whoever that was y'all had on earlier that was saying, with this whole Texas thing, there's water under the bridge. There's a big difference in water under the bridge and bullets in the gun. And it depends on which side of that line you're on.
Yeah.
They're the offending party, and they think they've won. I would not be surprised, first pitch, first game, when they play each other in baseball next year, first batter gets drilled, second batter gets drilled. I say you just go ahead and have a full-on brawl and just get it over with.
Some bad news bears over there in Texas?
Hell yeah, there's that ain't bad blood. That's Hatfields and McCoys that just want to wipe each other out. And that was a cold, calculated move by Texas. That's as petty as anything I've ever seen. I think it's kind of awesome. But I understand why Texas A&M would be pissed off. I mean, it makes for good radio and it makes for good stuff to talk about. But I got a buddy that I was in the Air Force with that is a Texas A&M fan, and I can't even repeat a third of what he said to me in a text message. I sent a screenshot of it to Drew.
It's reasonable.
And I mean, they just want to have a fight in the parking lot. They're sick of this crap. They're like, they always come after us. We left. They came here because the conference sucked, and they're furious. So I just think if you think this is over, you are sadly mistaken. I think it's just getting started on the official lines now that they're in the same conference.
And I'm kind of looking forward to it.
We got the perspective from Carter Baines from Horns 247. So he was just like, yeah, let's hope that the water is under the bridge. Let's just all that stuff. But no, The way that he was going.
Football game's affected. The basketball game's affected.
Exactly.
Everything's affected. The softball game.
And it is different because it is in Texas where, they hold this stuff a lot closer to their heart. Of course, we have sports here in the South, and we love it, and we, build it up. But a lot of people say it, everything's bigger in Texas, and that's the same that goes for these coaches, the same that goes for these teams. And I don't think we're going to be forgetting about this for a long time. And I think that I'm going to have the sounder of him saying that I left my family for this team and to take this job and to never take another job again just 24 hours before flipping sides and going on a little car ride over to the Longhorns studio. I just think it is an absolutely amazing story.
Well, it would be different if he had done it 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah.
And Texas hadn't fired their coach, and then he had already taken the job because he met somebody in a cemetery. If there wasn't all that dastardly crap that went on with it, it wouldn't be that bad. I'd just be like, well, hell, he got paid, big deal.
Yeah.
But this whole ordeal with them is it's just funny to me that they went out of their way to step on somebody that bad, and I feel like they're punching down. Texas punching at Texas A&M is punching down. And another guy y'all know does radio, pretty good dude, Jim Dunaway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for you to make Jim Dunaway go on a video and do horns down, which is not something that's typical of a guy like that, then you really hit a nerve.
I mean, I'll do horns down right now. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, this is our program.
They're about to be in the SEC now. We're all for it.
This is on YouTube. Who cares?
College football won't allow it, though. The game, that is.
I think someone flicked us off one time on this station.
Really?
I think it was LSU Lynch. Yeah.
Oh.
We were at somewhere.
Oh, that happens.
Baumhauer's, I think.
That's not that big of a deal. Either way.
And
that's a normal day.
I'm trying to get to the boat race. I told my son about it. He didn't believe that boats go 200 mile an hour until I showed him some of the videos. And he's fired up and wants to come. We're going to try to make it. Got a little bit going on with the Alaska trip coming up, so I don't quite know if we can make it happen. But we're going to try to see if we can ease over there and see it, because I've never seen a boat do 200 in person.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind checking it out at least one time. And with any of these boats going on, do they going to have any of those real crazy fast pontoons, or is this just the Enduro-type speedboats and that's it?
These are these like high-performance speedboats.
Yeah,
These are those.
nice.
Yeah, these are. Yeah.
Supercars, but on water.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Indy
Yeah,
cars.
I saw
They have plane
I saw a guy on
engines
pontoon.
inside of them.
I saw a guy on the water one time with a Tritoon, and he was doing like 130. And I didn't know if all that circus was part of this or not. So
That would be hilarious, though. Good stuff from you, Brandon. Appreciate you calling in,
Roll
man.
Tide.
Hopefully we
Roll
do
Tide.
see you over there in Gunnersville, of course, for HydroFest. I cannot wait for it, and I also cannot wait to see, Texas A&M and Texas actually go
Yeah.
at it. Chad, do we got anybody else on the
I think this is LSU Lynch, but I did just grab the phone call. So whoever this is, I apologize. Who is this calling in? Welcome
Look
to the
here,
show.
Captain Cool.
It is.
Look here, Captain Cool. Do the girlfriends still have the beads, son?
The beads? What are we talking
From the
about?
farmhouses.
Oh, yeah, no,
You
yeah.
got those beads that he
Oh,
gave
of
you?
course she does. Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're,
okay.
yeah, she.
Okay.
He gave us the bird and the bees.
I told her to give them
I
away.
Beads.
the birds. You go back to the video grizz, and it's always do the rock sign, okay? That's how you live road. So y'all keep coming up with crap. Just like y'all tried to comment about our real name the other day, which I don't like. Anyway, look here. It's breaking news. Texas A&M done hired a Hawk Tour girl.
I did not
Way to
think
go,
we'd hear
motherfucker.
about this.
They just hired it. But look here, talking
Director
about
of
the
admissions.
HydroFest. Yeah, talking about the HydroFest, we go on both days. But look here,
Heck yeah.
like the phone call we had the other day, I wouldn't piss on these meteorologists who stays on fire and Jesus sat in there telling me I could get into heaven. Because it's supposed to rain 2 days now. It ain't rained in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And now both days supposed to rain. Come on, man.
If we keep saying it, it might happen.
Well, okay, so I actually went down. Okay, so we're in this basement, or no, this attic. Okay, so we can't see anything outside. Now I've been really just calling for the rain. I've been doing my rain dance. So I did go
Man, you're the
downstairs.
problem.
I did go downstairs. All right,
Yeah.
and it is officially raining in Huntsville. So
That's messed up.
He's been listening to CCR like on repeat.
Yeah, I was out in Doug Hill working a while ago. Before lunchtime, watched it right. It went right over. Okay. By the time we got to the top of Montesano coming down, There it was up on the Parkway. Yeah.
I hate it. You can see it like it's a wall.
But look here. Look here. We're going to go. We got the 2-day pass where we get to walk down there and see the boats. Grizz, you say you got your pass, so we all going to have to hook up and get us a picture, bro.
Yes, of course. I think the boys are going too. So yeah, we'll definitely be out there.
Yeah, my boys are going. Yeah, we're going. They've never seen it. I've
never been. This is cool. Might bring my fishing pole.
Y'all doing a great job. Y'all look here. Tom need to give y'all the gift certificate to the Corlell.
I would like that actually. And by the way, the old lady is coming with me today. She's gonna have the beads as well, so I'll make sure of that.
Love it, brother. Hey, y'all doing a good job. Thank you for the phone call. Move on.
Good stuff, LSU. I was saying it. All right. That's the one thing. All right. That's the one thing. It's tough. 3 people is tough. All right. John already talks over us enough whenever we have our little thing on. Me, I like to talk. It's a problem. Bandy, he's sitting in the big boy chair right now.
Bandy's got the big boy chair. That's the reason why.
So I'll just
sometimes
be quiet.
it'll happen.
I'll just be quiet. So I'm just here so I don't get fined.
All right.
I think we all are here so we just don't get fired / fined. I mean, I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? I should probably go into work because I will probably get fired or fined.
Yeah, I understand that.
I mean, we had a couple of guests. We couldn't just say no, I thought about having, Steve Merrill on tomorrow, but then I was just like, everybody seems to be taking the day off tomorrow on Friday. So I just thought about, hey, why don't we take the day off on the Thom Abraham Show tomorrow? So tomorrow you will get a best of edition of the Thom Abraham Show. You'll probably get a couple of conversations that we've had throughout this week, and then probably just a couple of them that aren't time-stamped from Thom as well.
Is the only show tomorrow going to be the Morning Blitz?
I think so. I think you guys have the spotlight.
All right.
Hey.
So for everybody listening right now to the Thom Abraham Show, you got to call in tomorrow. We're just going to have an entire show. It's going to be Drudy Arman, and then it's going to be the callers all the way through, and we cannot wait for that. But we got to hit a break, right?
No, we're going to talk. We're going to top the break. Yeah, we're going to top to the break.
So there's 2 things we can talk about because we love to talk about football. We can either throw in USA getting beat by Japan, which I don't think anybody really wants to talk about except for you guys that have some tidbits about it. It gets people listening though. It gets people listening and watching the international league that is like just popped up out of nowhere. But it has been going on since 1999. That is what I've heard. There is some history behind this. We saw Canada destroy Brazil 110 to nothing. I mean, it is a ridiculous league. It's totally overshadowing the AFL, the league that is supposed to be giving us what we want.
Seems like every other week a team is getting cut.
But on top of that, we also did get a little bit of the defensive and offensive ratings for the new college football game. So which do you guys want to talk on? Do you want to talk on us getting or Japan getting revenge on America, or do you want to talk about?
I'll save that thing for tomorrow.
Okay,
the
good.
ratings for y'all because I think the football thing is, very not serious, but it's something that's like. Us as Americans, we overreact to something like that when we lose. Like in basketball, it's like, oh, we lost, but then we have to build this dream team and then a second dream team, and then we got to do all these things to beat these. Instead of embracing these other countries that are actually liking our sport, we apparently cannot get it right when it comes to football and soccer. And it's like we can't ever win. When I say we, the United States, because we cannot win in that sport. And I just think that when you look at other countries that are like they're enjoying it, like basketball especially. I mean, hockey, yes, but basketball especially, you're having this growth. Chinese players, French players. There's so many people that out there outside of those sports are like, it's really just an American thing, and so you only have the pick of the litter in the Americas. So when you see some of these games like this, we could go out there and throw, Patrick Mahomes and everybody if we wanted to, but we're not going to.
Yeah.
We could go. I watched something like 20 years ago. It was like 10 years ago. It was Japan and America, and we had like Division III players playing for it. And I think this might have been the 2011 game or something like that. Now that I recall it, I think it might have been. And they beat Japan, and I was thinking, what in the heck is this? You know what I mean? What is this? And now here we are. They played in 2015. America's won the last 3. Japan won the first 2 because America didn't even play in it. Canada didn't even play it in the first 2 years. So, there's all these things that are going on. So I just think that when we're looking at it, it's like if we played the guys that we wanted to play, even Division III guys, America would destroy.
I know we take it like a sense of pride. It's like, all right, you got your thing. You got your win. If we had actually played people,
isn't it only the U20 team though?
It's U20, but it's like, but the thing is, it's like we could probably find some kids.
Well, yeah.
Are you telling me the top 100 prospects in America couldn't come out and go dominate for this or whatever? You know what I mean?
You threw out Patrick Mahomes.
2026. I'm just saying, you don't think
gotcha.
2026 prospects could just dominate in this or whatever?
It's like, because we got the rules. It's like NFL players aren't eligible. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But players must have graduated from college and making
Under
active
20?
college players. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
who
so
do
they're in college.
Who do you know besides like young Sheldon who graduated from college before 20?
So I mean, there's stuff that we can always say, and I think we got my cousin Vinny on hold as well. Let's get him on real quick, and before we get out of here. What's up, buddy?
Hey, boys, how are you today?
Doing well, brother. Good to hear from you.
Well, it's good to be heard. There's a couple things. My girlfriend calls me and said, "Are you listening to the Thom Abraham show?" And I said, "Yes, I am." She goes, "Who are those guys? They sound like they're having fun." I said, "Oh, those are the kids. They're so cute at that age."
Well, I greatly appreciate it, but it's known to us that we actually have fun when Tom's away.
Oh. I'm quickly approaching 30.
Secondly, Grizz,
I'm over 30.
Today is the first anniversary of my first call ever to the Thom Abraham show.
Oh, right.
Congrats.
Give him the horns. Do we have the horns?
Well, Tom was on vacation, and you were sitting in, and you put out a question. What is the most beautiful stadium that the best, most beautiful stadiums? And I called in, and I said Fenway Park at night. And then we started talking about Jordan Hare.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah,
beautiful at night.
So that was wow.
And then a month later, I called Tom and the whole Tyler Buckner thing, and hence the beginning of the legend of my cousin Vinny.
Hey,
I just
love
wanted to say it's really a treat listening to you guys. You're doing a great job, and enjoy the boat races this weekend. I may come down there, and I hope to see Brandon. I've been communicating with Brandon a little bit, and of course LSU. You can't miss him. So.
Of course. Well, thank you so much, brother. Thank you for the kind words. And yes, I do remember that for sure. Just talking about that, where you get his name from.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin Vinny's awesome because I've met him in person too. We met him at the draft and the fantasy draft and everything like that. So. He calls in and that's how you have some great liners. I have a couple buttons over here that I could play of my cousin Vinny as well. So he's also known around the doghouse.
For anybody who's ever trying to reference the three of us in this studio together, we're not the big dogs. We're the Mutts.
Yes, we're the Mutts.
We're the Mutts.
Not the Mutts. Not the Mets. Thank goodness. Y'all have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll be back next week. And see you guys later. TA Show.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the